Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to
Dr. Phil's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Long 10 seconds. It is Friday.
Yes.
And it's been a long week. I've been at this since last Thursday. You've been at this since probably Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yourself trying to get it in there. So welcome to episode 471 of Dr. Phil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Mike Washington is still on assignment. He said he will be here today.
Right.
He's en route, so don't worry. He's on his way doing his thing. He said he will be here, so we're looking forward to it. Welcome to episode 471 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NEIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. Mm-hmm. Simply put, we call it sports
pedagogy.
That's right, HBCU sports pedagogy. Mm-hmm. That's what we call it. I'm your host, Dr. Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. We're filming from the Omni in the first floor, if you would, M2 level to be exact. Mm-hmm. In the Omni, we're in that, South Tower, getting it done on that side, or is the north side? I get confused between the two.
I think we're on the north side. Yeah,
Flip it, do whatever. It's on one of the sides.
Yeah, we're over here on the MEAC side of the building.
That's the MEAC is in the north side.
Yeah, that was the
so
MEAC
FAMU was on the south side.
MEAC breakfast, or the Howard breakfast, I was pinching off of a little bit this morning. So.
Smart. You didn't have to tell on yourself.
I know. I might get in trouble.
There's a lot for listening. What that thing said. And we have our guest, the illustrious Madam Commissioner of the MEAC, Ms. Sonia Steels, and it's my understanding she was looking for me, so I'm excited. Anytime you get it when you have a commissioner that is proud and excited, I hope to see me.
Absolutely.
Oh, there it is.
She requested.
I was not doing nothing until you got here.
Pull it up just a little bit.
You hear me testing one?
Oh, yeah, you're perfect. We got you loud and clear.
Yes, indeed.
So we're here at the Omni.
Yes.
Which means it's very important. You are here, so it means it's even more important.
Thank you.
For the Cricket Celebration Bowl.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have a new intro into the market. Friday, this evening, we'll have the championship of the bands, the HBC Band of the Year, featuring Jackson State, North Carolina A&T at the major division levels, like we call it, Division I, as you all know. Yeah. And then mid-majors, Florida Memorial.
And Virginia State, Trojan Explosion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't want to get you in trouble, so I would ask, are they going to be moving? Are they going to be moving from the mid-major level to the major level? Do we have any new news out here?
No comment.
You know, we just kid hard. We feel comfortable with it like that. So we're going to jump right into it. Hey, in all seriousness, how has it been?
It's been good. It's been a good ride. It's been busy. I have done a lot with the other commissioners in regards to
that was
lobbying.
beautiful. I heard that.
So that makes sure that HBCUs are protected with the pay for play, because you can't survive if that comes into fruition.
Can we go take a deeper dive in that a little bit, because I think that is extremely important.
Yeah.
A lot of people had saw that, maybe kind of glossed over it because that's such a high level. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be first?
Sure.
Why it is important, which I think you were about to allude to.
Yes.
And more lastly, how did it go in regards to what you all wanted to achieve?
Sure. So, it really all started with, of course, name, image, and likeness, and the bills that were introduced. Cory Booker's bill, Booker Blumenthal's bill, Wicker had a bill, and I think Ted Cruz has a bill. And so we wanted to make sure that those bills would not be at I guess it's like the trickle-down effect, unintended consequences, that HBCUs will not be able to afford any type of implementation when it comes to the financial pieces of those bills.
Absolutely.
These bills are trying to get at the 1%, the Power 5. The 99% of us can afford any type of implementation of pay for play. That's the next thing that's coming up is pay for play, making student athletes employees. So the Power 5, yeah, they can afford that.
No doubt.
The rest of us can't. I think the what it is the misconception that all of us have these big
Pots of money.
what do you call it? Television deals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, when we talk to the Senate Commerce staff, it's saying like they're asking us about how much do we get on our television deals. Not enough that
To
even
do what you
pays
want.
for the production of the games that we
Sure.
have on.
Sure.
So there's only less than 30 institutions who actually operate in the black. The rest of us operate in the red.
Thank
Our
you.
money comes from student fees, auxiliary services, that type of thing. So when you talk about paying for a student athlete to play, that means the first to go is going to be the Olympic sports, and ultimately all the sports, because if 80% of our students are on some type of financial aid. So if they can afford to come to school, they're going to have to take out a loan to pay for taxes. The institution has to find taxes to match that. That's the end of sports. We cannot compete with that.
Wow.
So we want to make sure that these bills, our voices heard, because our voices were not in the room. They talked to the Power 5, but they weren't talking to the ones who, at least the mid-majors or the HBCUs. So part of lobbying was to be able to get to the Congressional Black Caucus, because we know that with the sheer number of them, anything that passes that to the detriment of HBCUs, they will pretty much shut that down.
Okay.
We were able to go to Capitol Hill about 3 weeks ago, and we met with Senator Alma Adams,
Yeah.
Senator Allred, Cory Booker, and Blumenthal, Senator Cantwell, and some other staff members to talk about educate. It was education about who we are as HBCUs. We know through history, and you can ask Charles about this the next time, but Prairie View, when they got rid of their athletics program,
Yes. Very
their
well.
enrollment went down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when the enrollment goes down, the funding goes down.
That's right.
And so it's like, okay, we're going to be able to keep these doors open. And then once they added back athletics, it took some time for it to recover, for enrollment to come back up. So we know that athletics is very, very important. If we lose athletics, our institutions are traditionally in the inner cities, in the underrepresented communities. Jobs go away. So it's one thing when I talk about the unintended consequences of making those type of decisions. We support name, image, and likeness. We want our student athletes to properly up their name. They have that right. But we also want to make sure that they're going to be protected from those unsavory, managers or whoever they're trying to get after them. And then taxes. And then we want to make sure that our HBCUs are protected. We were also able to talk to Mayor Benjamin in the White House, as well, and some staff members from the Labor Office of Labor and HBCUs. And so they assured us, again with Senator Booker and Blumenthal, that nothing will pass without our input.
Okay.
And hearing our voice.
That's huge.
And that's huge. And so we feel really, really good coming out of that day of lobbying. that we will be in a good position and we will be protected.
Well, I guess I wanted to go back and ask this question. Under the current structure of name, image, and likeness, is it sustainable for HBCUs in terms of looking at the current way it's set up? I mean, and I think you see schools that try to have collectives and things of that nature, but I guess under the current structure of the way name, image, and likeness works at the FBS level, is it sustainable for FCS schools?
No. So even with name, image, and likeness the way it moves now, we're in a totally different category.
Sure.
You know, we're not.
Right.
You know, we're not going to get, our students aren't going to get. It's going to be rare for maybe one or two of them to get those lucrative deals. That's not. Our students are coming to school for an education. HBCUs, and one of the things that we wanted to stress is HBCUs are here to graduate those students who provide an opportunity for the underserved. That's our main purpose, is education. Our students, majority of our students, I guess anywhere you go, they're not going pro. So the deals that they're not going to get the same deals. We already know that. The same thing, we're not going to get the major recruits. It's just who we are. But we have a value. We know that our students are coming here for an education to get the culture, the nurturance that you will only get from HBCU. So we're fine. We will be fine. If students want to get to those major deals, then they're going to have to go to those major schools. But we know they're only going to take so many.
Yeah, great point when you get into it, and extremely complex, but the way you broke it down and where we are, I think you sum it up when you come out of it, that the most important part is that the voice of those that are caretakers of HBCUs will be at the table, and their voices will be heard. And so that specific framework in terms of HBCUs and how they augment and move through this space in the sporting landscape can be unique and different, and in that fashion it's important to make sure that voice of that uniqueness is heard.
Right. One of the other differences is that for HBCUs, we can't just call an alumnus and say, I need $38 million for a collective. That's not going to happen for us. And so we have to move in the way that we can do, and we can't try to keep up with the Joneses.
So with that said, how does this, in terms of we here at the Cricket Celebration Bowl, how does this magnify that? How does it fit in there, and why does this become important with that landscape of that previous question that we have? What do you see as the real benefits? And I think I know what they are, but I think it would be good for folks to hear about that.
The Celebration Bowl, what's really important, I think one of the questions I've gotten is versus going to the FCS playoffs than going to the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Celebration Bowl is more financially prudent for our institutions. If you play in the FCS, you're going to be in the hole.
And you're talking about the magnitude of $1 million+ to literally paying money.
Paying to play in the FCS.
Right.
So $1 million versus $0.
Right,
negative.
exactly. And so, and not only financially, the good part with the conference is we have a shared model. So it's not only beneficial for the institution who's participating, but for all of the institutions.
Great point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The pageantry, the culture, the homecoming that you're going to get from being in the Celebration Bowl, you're not going to get that at the FCS. And the enrollment that comes up, we're playing on ABC. You can't get the marketing that you can. You can't pay for that. That you're not going to get that at the FCS. So it's very important that we continue supporting the Celebration Bowl. This is a way that we are celebrating everybody. Everybody comes together. No matter what school that you went to, the Celebration Bowl is the one. I think this is the first year that I think majority of our schools got their suite. It's like talking with one of the alumni.
Oh.
We want to make sure that this is a place for our alumni
gathering
to
spot to come.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a
Sure.
great way to really
it's huge.
build
For the
that.
student athlete,
I like
student
that.
athlete experience that you're not gonna get
Wow.
drum major Mickey at the FCS. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
well, you're not going to get that type of thing or experience the eye opening of being in Atlanta, the lights and the glamour. You're not going to get that at that level. So I think this is great for our students.
One of the unique things, and I'll jump over there because I see you have a follow-up question. One of the unique things that creates the synergy, I would say, with the Cricket Celebration Bowl is the fact that you have two major FCS Division I HBCU conferences, if you would,
Yes.
that face off. Has there been any thought to seek a way to do that in other sports, particularly in terms of maybe during the regular season? A little more particular matchups from the conference office. I know independent schools can do it, but
Yeah.
from the conference office, you open it up, but maybe some non-conference games through the season, or even more importantly, maybe through basketball, men's and women's, where you see some specific matchups
Yeah.
that have a basketball MEAC SWAC type challenge for.
Yeah, I see that in our future. I think with the HBAC, the Historically Black Athletic Conferences, us working together, taking back the HBCU name from third-party promoters, that we can do
That's good to
ourselves. This
hear.
is what we do. And that the funding goes directly back to our institutions. So I see, particularly, I think probably the first thing would probably be men's and women's basketball.
Okay.
I can see that in the near future of doing something, if not on the back end, but more so maybe on the front end, like we do the MEAC SWAC Challenge.
When you say in the future, you say near future, couple of years, 2,
I would
3,
think within
or
the
5?
next couple of years.
Okay. Go ahead, Joe.
And
awesome to hear.
Yeah, it kind of dovetails into my question because I know coming in, you had the long range strategic planning with regards to the conference that dates 22 to 2027. Where are we within that regards in terms of where the MEAC is positioned in itself long range?
Yeah, I think, and actually, we just had our meetings, and we do our test of where we are at this point, and we're moving really, really good. One of the things when we talk about mental health, that's one of our major things from our strategic plan. We had a symposium for our student athletes, for our administrators. We're continuing to have a partnership with Gateway Services, who provides 24/7 resources for our students and our administrators during the basketball tournament. And then we have mental health professionals at the ready at our other championships. The other thing is the exposure, having the countdown to kickoff show. Getting our more awareness on a national platform, being on ESPN Plus, our games, being on participating in the Legacy Classic, on TNT.
That's good. I plan to get there this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I touched Michael B. Jordan's hands. Yeah, I did. So that's part of it, and then let's see what else we've done. Improving the student athlete experience. One of the things for the championships, we did the BBT awards, at the basketball tournament, and just doing it like the ESPYs, and the students really, really enjoyed that. So we want to be able to continue to do stuff like that for our students. And then, of course, looking for expansion, being very strategic about who we're looking at, potential members who are going to accent us athletically and academically. So I think we're moving at a really good pace. We got 3 more years, and I think
Awesome.
24. Yeah, 3 more years, and I think we're moving really well. The foundation of getting that together, especially with Wells Fargo giving our $100K first major donation into the foundation to help bring back more sports back, bring back men's and women's golf, bring back baseball to the conference. So this is what we're working on, so that we're more in line with what's going on in our strategic long-range plan.
Last question here, because they're telling us that we got to wrap up, because we could talk to you.
I know.
But we're going to be fair to everybody else. So that's the game, and you have to be fair as well, and we don't want to be the ones to get you in trouble. So we're going to follow rules.
I'm the commissioner. I do what I want.
Oh, well, how about that? Exactly.
Hey, not the first
I'm
time.
not gonna say that right now, but maybe they're pulling me later.
Exactly. Since we're talking about broadcast television deals and the plan, where are we at with that? Because it's my understanding that is being significant, and at some point that's coming to a head in regards to new contracts or additional contracts. Can you at least kind of frame a time frame of what that looks like?
Sure. Actually, we're our contract with ESPN ends in 2025. Okay. And so right now we have secured Leona Marketing to shop our multimedia rights.
Okay.
I think it's opportunity to really, really look at what the market looks like. We know
it's a good
that
time.
the HBCU value is high. Yeah. And so we are really looking to get into it like right now. I think right now we're looking at talking with the members about what success really looks like, not only for the conference, but what does it look like for your institution, so that when we actually go out to market, that everybody's going to be happy. Well, no, nobody's going to be happy with it. Everything. But,
the key stakeholders should be happy.
Yeah, so it'll be good for not only the conference, but as the institution itself. We know that we have to look at way technology, streaming, the different platforms that weren't available back then. How can we really, really maximize the conference and our institution? So I'm really, really excited to see what they're going to come up with and present to us. Carrie Davis, who is the athletic director from Howard, is actually the chair of our television committee, and with his background, formerly worked for HBO. I feel confident that we're really going to have a great package.
Oh, that's good to hear.
That's awesome.
Great to hear.
Yeah.
Well, that'll do it for us. I know our time's up, and we'll let you move on. So, again, you heard it first here from the MEAC Commissioner.
Probably
Madam
have 100
Sonia
more questions.
Yeah, we'll call you up, and afterwards we'll get in the corner and be able to pick your brains on some stuff.
Let's do it. All right, thanks, guys.
Sure thing.
Thank you for your time. Continue the great work. With that, let's get into our first break. We'll come back on the other side and get into some more talk of the Cricket Celebration Bowl between the Bison, Howard Bison of the MEAC, champions winner coming out, versus the FAMU Rattlers of the SWAC. We'll be right back. We're still moving through process, so let me look at a little bit. Here on Radio Row, you see it's grown. We were one of the first ones in there, what that looks like. So with that being said, let's go to our first break. We'll come back on the other side and get into some more dialogue.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Nope. Come on, him? Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
at CD.
Compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington. He's out on assignment, but we have none other than Charles Bishop. We're here with the Howard University AD, Kerry Davis. Mr. Davis.
Doc,
it's good to see you again.
How you doing?
Man, you wearing it well. The Howard Bison, it looks good on you.
I appreciate that, man. This has been a journey of love for us, man. It's some people have called this a renaissance, but here's what I call it. I'm calling this we're starting to be who we say we are.
Okay,
beautiful.
Okay.
Right? That's even better.
That's what we have to do. When we started with this program, with this vision, the vision was we wanted to make sure the academics of our athletic program match the academic excellence of the university.
Sure.
Once we got that in place, then we could say, okay, with this great academic institution, now do you want to come play sports for us? You want to come play football, basketball, whatever it is. But you can't do that if the football team is under academic probation.
Sure.
You can't do that if the basketball team
is
you can't do that. So my thing was, for the first 2 or 3 years, don't talk to me about who the athlete is. Talk to me about who the student is.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Let's have our base be, great students.
Yeah.
Level up.
Then we can then talk about, okay, now
That's
how
all.
do we get good in terms of track and field, basketball, football, whatever it is.
Well, that actually brings an interesting question, because you bring a varied array of skills into this job, and I was curious, how has that transition been in terms of becoming athletic director at Howard, and the varied skill set that you have in terms of bringing that to the job? Like, what has that been like for you?
I was talking to my aunt the other day, and she asked me something very similar. And 2 skills, and they're very varied, have really helped me in this transition. The first was being in the corporate world, being at HBO for 17 years, right? Understanding that big corporations are politics, right?
Wow.
It's not just to do a great job, but you also have to let it be known that you're the person who's responsible for that great thing happening. That's how you move up the corporate ladder.
Okay.
Right? Whereas beforehand, and most people don't know that, I worked for a black television production company, where we produced musicals like Mama, I Want to Sing, and Joe Turner's Come and Gone on Broadway.
Yeah,
and,
I know.
We did a lot of things in the entertainment world.
Sure.
A lot of music stuff, represented a lot of music artists. And but the mentality there was completely different. It was, we got to eat what we kill. Right? It doesn't matter who gets the credit for bringing so and so to the inside the production, or like, it's all we thing.
Sure.
Right? And so it's a combination of those 2 things that I came to Howard with. Hey, this is a team effort. We all here got to eat what we kill. No one, I don't care who gets the gold star. Right? We have to do that. But we also have to play the politics of how do we make sure that we excel in our little area, right, so as to other people on campus recognizing that athletics is an important part of the Howard experience.
Wow.
Right? We don't want people to think about Howard being a hobby any longer, right? We talk, I would go out those first few years when I go out and I would talk about our athletic programs to our alumni. I would say, we came in second place here, and we did this here, and did this here, right? And then I said, and we have a 3.4 GPA, and then everybody would stand up. Right. So now we need them to stand for the championship.
Yeah.
We need them to understand the importance of what that brings to the overall culture of the university.
Yeah.
Howard's going through a great renaissance period in terms of the amount of admissions that we're getting, right? We want to be part of that story. Hey, yes, it is great for Howard that we have Kamala Harris as the Vice President of the United States. It's wonderful. It's great for Howard that we've got all of these great donations from prominent people. That's wonderful, and all of the great programs. But it's also great that we won we won the conference championship in basketball and played
Both
Kansas
men's
in the
and women's
NCAA.
last couple of years.
It's also great we were in the celebration.
Swimming
It's also
championship.
great we were on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I think that
Golf
also
championship.
helped. We won the golf championship. Deal with Steph Curry. I think that helped. Also tell our story.
How difficult is that sort of transition into the mindset of the alumni to see the importance of athletics?
I think they see it now. I do. I think being on these stages, right? I think it helps them understand, right, that it's an important part of what we do. And I think for so many years it was just the academics. It was just the network alumni. That's the HU. That's where it came from. If we lost, don't worry, we're still HU, right? Well, no, I'm mad when we lose, man. It's not okay,
right?
Yell at me. I got to do better.
It's very interesting.
Right? So
we saw that last year. One game out, co-championships, all that came out of there. And this year, no, we want to knock down the door. We want to be the champion and head to Atlanta Celebration Bowl. Great picture. Can you take us behind the scenes in terms of the mindset, if you would, since you really are good about showing what that looks like? Obviously, the conference talks about churning and those natures and where Howard best fits. Can you talk about how you go and compartmentalize it and really work with your president, previous and now current president, in terms of making those tough kind of decisions? What you don't have to necessarily go and say why or not, but at least take us behind the scenes and say, all right, these are the things that we look at as a Howard University.
And let's talk about the conference for a minute, because I think that was that was a decision a few years ago that people looked at. When A&T and Hampton left, it was no secret that the CAA was also after us, but also the NEC, the Big South, the Patriot. All they were all calling at that time. For us, we had to sit back and talk about what are Howard's goals? What do we want to accomplish? Who are we? Right, and again, we want, as I say all the time, we want to be who we say we are. So if we think that we are a strong part of the black culture, right, in this country, it's the social fabric, if you will,
no doubt,
right, then it's probably paramount to stay in an HBCU conference.
Thank you for saying that.
It's paramount. It's paramount to reflect that. It's paramount to showcase our culture. Right, so that's
do who we say we are.
Right.
And you said that consistently.
Exactly. So that's number one. I'll say another thing about it. The Celebration Bowl. Go to another conference, FCS, right? So now our goal is to play in the FCS playoffs as opposed to the Celebration Bowl. You could tell me any one of the SWAC or MEAC schools, and I bet you if you blindfolded and went to Hampton and North Carolina A&T, they'd probably tell you they'd rather be in the Celebration Bowl than the FCS playoffs.
That's real talk.
It's a better platform.
Sure.
Right. One's played in Atlanta in an NFL stadium. The others played first round on a campus, but and with on cable television as opposed to ABC.
Right.
Yeah. So the lead person in terms of looking at the MEAC in terms of the media deal, your experience in the media when it comes from you, that to me says a significant measure because of the experience you have, and you're not just saying something that everybody says, oh, okay, whatever. No, this is in terms of from a strictly business perspective, in addition to the culture of saying who you are. That magnifies to me and means a lot. So thank you for opening up and sharing that because you don't have to.
Right. Well, again, I've been very clear to my to my constituents around campus. To me, the Celebration Bowl is a 3-hour commercial for Howard and HBCUs.
Wow.
Right. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Right. It's an opportunity to tell our stories. When we went to Des Moines for the first round of the NCAA champions, again, big platform.
Yes.
Right. A big platform for us. Playing Kansas, #1 team in the country. Right. It's great. I love going to the arenas early and just soaking it all in and walking around. And I was speaking to a lot of Kansas supporters. They had no idea who Howard was.
Yeah.
They had no idea where Howard was. They asked, well, we hear VP Harris is coming to the game. Why is she coming to the game? Because she's black? well, maybe because she went to Howard. But really, she went to. We take for granted
that's real.
that people know our story.
Sure.
Like, a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's even people of color.
Right. That's
Right?
fair.
That's very fair.
Because if you don't live in one of the HBCU hubs,
Right.
the Northeast, the South, right? If you're in the Midwest, West Coast,
Yeah.
Great
right,
point.
you're not feeling it the same way we feel it,
Right.
on the East Coast and in the South, right? So that was, to me, again, having those platforms, right, to help tell our stories is an incredible part of what we feel our mission is, not just for Howard, but also for HBCUs in general.
Sure.
So before we get to what's next for Howard, because we always like to look, and I know you have a vision. Let's talk about being in the moment in regards to that renaissance, if you want to use that framing, or really saying who you are, which obviously Howard University, academic and athletically, certainly shows that model. We ran through those numbers of championships, and we kind of glossed through them. Talk about the excitement that you have with your student athletes, your students on campus, the administration, and obviously the alums in terms of this next chapter. Being in the moment. How excited are you to see everybody excited about those championships?
Well, one of the things I love on campus is our administration looks like our student body. What most people don't realize is Howard has 70% females, 70-30 ratio females to males on campus.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the things we said even a few years back is, hey guys, we're going to compete on the women's side before we start competing on the men's side.
Makes sense.
That's why we were strong in volleyball and soccer and women's track and field, and
no doubt.
we were, because we had
Women's
70%
basketball.
women.
Yep.
Sure.
And what we can use that for is to make sure we garner support from the leadership. We have 9 of our 13 deans are women.
Wow.
Right. So now our women. So when our women's basketball team won the championship, right, it was the female leadership of the university says, "Hey, let's throw them a party.
Yeah.
Let's do whatever. And so
that's beautiful.
And that was great.
Black
for me.
girl magic.
Black girl magic. Exactly.
Right.
Wow. The CEO of the university, Dr. Tasha Boy, I'm gonna say her name. And my boss is Dr. Cynthia Evans, who's a VP of Student Affairs, right? They are both, right, so tuned in to what we're doing athletically, right, because they see young
now
girls
we see
who look
behind
like
the magic of why.
Exactly. So, and now we get more support from that
No
standpoint.
doubt.
Now we're renovating, we just rebuilt the lower gym, the practice gym. Right, we're rebuilding the offices and for women's basketball.
Wow.
Right, what men's basketball raised the money. Right, the university put up the money for women's basketball.
Good.
Right, they're doing the women's volleyball practice court. It's that kind of momentum that makes selling the story easier.
Yeah,
right.
no
When you have that kind of success.
Sure.
Right, so that's what we're looking to build on. And you had mentioned to me what's next, and so so the new president, Ben Vincent, has talked about Howard at maximum quality, maximum effort, right? Howard to the max, if you will, and we want to do better. We want to continue to get better at the things we're doing.
Okay,
but we also. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a quick story, if you don't mind.
No.
My very first week, Dr. Frederick and I, the former president, went out to visit Notre Dame. Right? And at Notre Dame, we met with the president and the athletic director. And we asked the question, what was it about this that was different from what you expected? Right.
Great question.
And the president of Notre Dame said, when I came here, I thought my constituency was every Notre Dame alumni. That was my constituency. How do I speak to the Notre Dame alumni?
Makes sense.
Now that I'm here, I realize my constituency is every Catholic in the world.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. Different mindset, different level.
Exactly.
Somebody spent.
So now,
global at that.
Exactly.
Wow.
So now that's when we talk about where's my vision. That's my vision now.
Yeah.
My vision is, right, I want our constituency to be every woke, not even black,
Yeah.
every woke person, every person who believes in progressiveness and growing our world and our economy and seeing the world the same way we do. Right, that's our new constituency.
Yeah.
Right, how do we get global? How do we do that?
Sure.
So when we approached Jordan Brand, we talked about a global partnership. We didn't want to just be an apparel deal.
That makes sense why it works.
We want you to help us amplify, right, the Howard brand and thus also the HBCU brand across the world. Yeah. Right, and so that's what they're doing. They're creating a Howard line that they're going to sell across the world.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. We're the only school that has that. I mean, that's Michigan. I'm probably going to get myself in trouble, but Michigan and UCLA, none of them have that
a global
framework.
framework.
Global relationship like that. So when you say what's next for us, that's what's
Global.
next. I want to take it out globally.
So I'm fascinated by this, and especially the partnership with Steph Curry, and when you talk about global brands, Jordan Brand, and now Steph Curry with Under Armour. But just how did that come about, and how do you, I guess, commingle the two brands, if you will, on one campus?
Well, so golf is not included in the Jordan Brand deal. So that was a specific inclusion, and I said to the executives at Jordan, I said I can never leave Steph Curry.
Yeah.
For what he has meant to our program. It wasn't just a specific donation, but every person on my golf team has Steph's cell number. They can call him. They talk golf tips. He is
bigger than that.
And
that is so
beautiful.
Yeah.
He helps us raise money. It's not just the money he gave us, but he brought all of his partners in. He brought Callaway in, who gave the kids free golf clubs. Right? He brought in Workday, who was one of his partners, who gave us a huge donation. Right? He has helped us build this program in a way that goes way beyond that original donation.
Yeah.
I can't ever leave him.
Sure.
Right? So as long as Steph Curry's with Under Armour, our golf team will be with Under Armour.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
And when we did the deal with Jordan Brand, I called Steph. I said, listen, right, Jordan Brand here's what Jordan Brand's willing to do for our other sports. Right? And he gave me his blessing. He said, you know what? Go ahead and do that. We don't know of another company who would lean in the way they are, right? But I'm going to do whatever I can to lean in that way on our golf program.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fascinating as we wrap up because they're saying we had to go. We can talk to you forever.
Yeah,
we're going to get back with you. We're going to make sure
we got to bring you on
back.
to the show.
We got to get a little more of this energy and this insight, man. It's brilliant. And I don't just use that casually in terms of being able to pick the mind of folks that see the world differently that happen to be in positions of leadership and caretakers of our institution. So that is exciting to me. And that we build this in so much ways where we talk about Brand Jordan and LeBron James of these institutions, which is a whole nother way, as you say, seeing this from a different perspective that we hadn't seen at HBCUs at that level, right? Yeah. Not to say that we wasn't doing great things or wasn't and continue to do great things, but it's differently. So as we close and leave you on there, what any parting things that you want to kind of put out there as you continue to build these blocks of gold that I see?
Well, again, the Celebration Bowl is a big one for us, and that's we'll culminate with that because we've talked about a lot of the other sports, but football in this culture is incredibly important, and we were winning a lot of championships 2 years ago, but no one. We weren't getting the credit. No one thought, oh, man, I didn't see any articles talking about Howard Athletics is on the rise because we were winning track or we were winning in tennis. So I didn't see that. It's true. But when you win in football, right, and you win in basketball,
it's different.
It's different, right? And so we have to make sure that we maintain our position in those two sports. So we're excited, right? FAMU's a really great team, really athletic team, former MEAC team, but I won't get into that.
You got to slide that in. You got to slide that in.
But no, we're excited about the opportunity to showcase who we are, right, to a national audience this Saturday at noon. So thank you, guys.
No, it's a pleasure. And you heard it from the Howard University Athletic Director, Kerry Davis, the great work that he's doing. So appreciate his time. We'll be right back after this break. as we come back and get you some more individuals that are getting it done.
At CDW, we get speed as the new currency of success.
Our team spends way too much time tending to outdated applications and software when they should be focused on driving application agility and innovation.
CDW Amplify Development Services modernizes software and application development to help accelerate innovation and digital transformation.
So you mean building new applications, UI, and mobile interfaces?
Well, you said you needed to innovate more quickly.
Oh, so he's a listener.
To do more at scale, trust CDW Amplify Development Services.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cavil.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
From novice to aficionado.
HBCU Sports Lab as we here on Radio Row at the Cricket Celebration Bowl here in Atlanta at the Omni. And we got a bad one for you today, brother. We got another one, man. We get some jewels, man. I don't know what we are blessed with to have. Richard Beckford of the Roar Marching Band, Florida Memorial University down there in the greater Miami area. Boy, I tell you, it's a pleasure to have you. We've talked about the bands, and you followed us, so we appreciate the support in a lot of ways. And look at you now. Limelight is on you, your band, your institution, as it should be, all the work you come in here. I guess one of the first things for those that may know, this is a relatively young band resurgence. Talk about a little bit about starting back up the band at Florida Memorial.
We started the band program during COVID, at the height of COVID, in August of 2020. The football team.
Pull it up just a little bit, yeah.
The president had just started the football team, and he wanted to have a soundtrack for the college experience. And he said we met, and I've been teaching band for like 30 years at the time. And he said, "Hey man, would you be interested in starting the program?" And I gave him a list of things that would be necessary for that to happen. And he said, "We can't do that." I'm like, "Well, you're not serious." Came back to me 3 months later and said, "Hey man, if you're serious, would you be willing to use this program?" I said, "Yes, sir. If you can provide these things, we can get a program started."
You got it started.
So, it was great, man.
Good stuff.
2.5 years in. The first year we had to shut it down because everybody got sick the first year.
Sure.
So we really only had 3 years in. So we're grateful to be in this position right now.
Not just grateful, but you earned it. You had that momentum and that growth. As you said, President Japhus Hardrick.
Yes, sir.
And he knows my family. Know him in terms of first name. My first name is Japhus.
Wow.
I spell it with one F.
Wow.
He has the two. So we had that syngenic.
What's up, Japhus?
Yeah, we have it. I go by my middle name, so it throws everybody off. Kenyatta.
Until he hired me.
Well, you smart man. I see why you have success.
Yeah.
Let me let Charles follow up a question. I got a couple more as well.
Yeah, I'm a closet band head. We do the sports, but I love following the bands. I've been following your band this past season. And one question that I'm always curious about in terms of song selection, and me and Doc, we've talked about songs that sort of resonate with audiences. It's crowd engagement. We talk about that all the time, and especially when you take a look at some of the tunes that are played. I mean, how do you go about that process? Especially for me, I immediately run to the 70s. It's band music.
Yeah.
When you're talking about Cameo, Earth, Wind and Fire. But how do you mix in the old with what is currently playing on the radio now?
Man, you all over that, man. That is the process right there. We spent hours. Wow. I write all the music for the band, but I hired a gentleman that I knew since he was a little young man. But he worked with Beyonce. He was on Drumline Live, Brian Snell. And we sit down and we collaborate for hours on what music to play. We always talk about musical content, the ability to translate the music from what we hear to the band being able to play it, the relevance of it, how many times it's been sampled. Because sometimes, the time that it's been sampled, it resonates. So when people hear that beat, they feel it in a different way because they heard it in 9 different songs. They don't even know it. So we spend hours thinking about what is sampled, the musical content, how is it going to translate to the horns. And I don't just write the music in a way for people to say, that's the name of the song. I want people to feel it. In fact, my goal is that they enjoy my arrangement more than they enjoy the piece. Like, that's literally how I go for that. And so you hit it all on the head. In the 70s, that's where all the sampling started. All the sampling started in the 70s. And one of the things that we did Outstanding, and it's been sampled. But what we did, we took the sample that they did in one of the rap songs, and then in the middle of the song, we took it back to the old school version.
Very interesting.
And we have a really good collaborative team that puts this together.
So that makes me ask this question, and I think you guys touched on it yesterday in the press conference, especially in regards to donating to the band programs and things of that nature. But just how do you monetize your content? Because social media splashes it out for everybody to see, but is there a way for bands to monetize their content?
This is something I've been wrestling with for years, but now that I'm in this limelight and this attention, I'm really trying to figure out, and I know there's a way, because I've seen it in other ways. I've gone and tried to get content for things that I'm trying to research, and I had to pay for it. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at different platforms that have creative ways for me that I have to, purchase what I'm looking for.
Great
and I'm
point.
like, there got to be a way for us to do it too, because what we're doing is quite unique. You know what I'm saying? And it's marketable. But because everyone has access to it, it just doesn't have the same. It diminishes the value.
Right.
So I'm literally. We just talked about it last week. We got to find a tech person that can help to protect it in a way that they have to maybe get a sample. They got to download it and pay for it first. But we're working on that. I literally just had that conversation.
Yeah,
yesterday.
I mean, because it's
you're talking about changing the game.
It's
once you
complex.
get that done. I mean, it's super complex.
There's so many people, they know how to get around that stuff, but there are people doing it.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. Last thing here while we have you, because I know other people want to get into it. What would you like to share that many of us may not really know in terms of you and, more importantly, in some ways, your band, the Marching Roar?
Well, I think that's a very good question, and I think we're doing band a little differently from everyone else, honestly. I went to Florida A&M University. I've sent hundreds of kids, maybe thousands, to college on music scholarships before, and I've heard all the stories. And when I had the opportunity to become a director at the university, I wanted to do it differently. Band had an impact on me that empowered me to become the best version of myself. And a lot of that, I learned character development. I learned camaraderie. I learned how to appreciate people who are different from me. And so when we created this culture, we created a culture that has nothing to do with putting someone down, belittling anyone. It's all about encouraging, motivating, inspiration. And see, we came in a time where COVID, we had kids that were isolated for months, and they were easily broken in the event that they had to encounter things like that. So in our culture, man, it's all about promoting the best version. How can we help you? You know, we train our leaders every summer to say positive words, to ask positive questions.
Oh, beautiful.
Say, how can I
Powerful.
help you? If somebody's saying, I'm hurting today, my legs hurt, I can't pick my leg up. Hey, well, let's pick it up where you can, but tomorrow we're going to push for that higher leg knee lift, you know.
Yeah.
So we're trying to build, and sometimes in the process of building, we realize that you don't have to break somebody down to build them back up. You can take them right where they are and continue
push
to
them
push
up.
them up.
Sure. Hold them up.
And that's the culture that we've created.
Until they can hold on to themselves.
That's
up.
awesome.
It's a beautiful way to put it. The other thing as we close up, I got to put this out there. You're a practitioner, you know, artist, a musician of your craft. And so it's good to have somebody of your ilk that also does it in terms of in teaching.
Yes.
As you do as the band leader. So I want to say thank you for bringing that to the table. That's huge as we get in it. Continue to do what you do, the greatness, and anytime you have something that you want to get out there, know you have a place, we got a platform for you to tell it.
That's a great platform, man.
Thank you.
We've been appreciating it and really enjoying the content and the kind of content and the way you present it.
Thank you.
Not comparing y'all to anybody else. You're walking in your lane and you're doing it well, and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
The best thing we could hear when you hear that.
Yes,
well, you heard it, Richard Beckford, in terms of the Roar Florida Memorial. The band director getting done. We'll be right back after this break.
Find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
This is Brian Fulford. A.B. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
T. Madden & Associates is a sophisticated and experienced law firm located in your neighborhood. We're turning injury to cash.
T. Madden and Associates obtained almost $2 million for my injury. They turned my injury to cash.
Now, we can't guarantee how much your injury is worth, but we've recovered millions for our clients.
Call T. Madden & Associates at 833-PAID-123. That's 833-PAID-123.
For 200 years, Montgomery
Test the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We're here in Atlanta at the Omni Cricket Celebration Bowl, Radio Row. And we have the stars of the show. Howard University football head coach Larry Scott, a big-time player here, and we'll allow him to introduce the young man here.
This is Quentin Williams, by way of the DMV, Howard man himself. Already graduated.
Pick your mic up.
Two-time MEAC champion, state high school champion. He's a winner. He's a winner.
Yeah.
I knew he couldn't do it any better than that, Quentin. I was going to let the coach get him in there, make him rub off on you a little bit, give you your accolades you deserve, because I know other times he'd be like, Quentin, what you doing
Just the other day in practice.
See what I know what to do. I got you, Quentin, man. Ups and downs, the flow of the seasons, but at the end of the day, you know what they have to call you now? Champion. How does it feel?
It's a good feeling. It's a great feeling. Like you said, ups and downs throughout the season. But at the end of the day, you know, we're where we want to be with a chance to make history. So,
Coach, how has the experience been as we get into closer to the ball game? But at this point, you know, you've been around the city and different things. You had all your appointments. How has everything gone?
It's been great. I think they do a great job with this bowl. I think it's definitely something that would hope to grow and be able to provide other opportunities for HBCUs to all have this experience. And maybe it's not just this bowl. It could be other ones that created those types, because I think everyone deserves this opportunity. When you played well, it should be something, a caveat at the end of the season, that this experience, you know, they have multiple at the PWI levels, right? Multiple bowl games, and those experiences are provided to those student athletes. And I think it's something that needs to continue to grow and build throughout HBCU.
I don't think there's much that talks about flattery when you are able to see something and then need the duplication because it's gone so well. So great point. And a lot of people out there talk about that. So to put that on the table is important. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, Quentin, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about your team in terms of for fan bases that are not familiar with Howard. Talk about some of the weapons that you can distribute the ball to.
And you got them, too.
Yeah, you got them.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys, man. Just talking with the coaches, you know, if you look at the stat sheet, you know, we're probably one of the only teams in the country that, you know, 7 or 8 guys, 9 guys get a catch throughout the game or touch the ball and have an impact in the game. So, you know, those guys make my job a lot easier. You know, just being able to get them the ball in, you know, short instance and let them go the distance. So, you know, we got a lot of guys. You know, Casey Hawthorne is a big-name guy, Jared Hunter, Eden James, and then, you know, a true freshman, Gavin Harris. So there's a few names to say, but, you know, those guys make my job a lot easier, so I appreciate them.
Yeah.
How do you think your maturity has come coming in to Howard University as a freshman? Let you reflect a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And now, senior, All-American Conference champion, and you here at the Cricket Celebration Bowl ready to lead your team into this big game on Saturday. Yeah. Talk about that a little bit.
It's been a tough transition, you know, coming in as a freshman, you know, even though I am a local kid, you don't really know too many people. So when you get here, everybody has a little circle that you click to. And then for me, it's just knowing the football team. But even then, so I was still a little quiet, you know, just playing my role, filling things out, because that's all I could do at the moment. And then, you know, as the season went on, I got older. I was asked to step up and be more of a leader, you know, be a vocal, as opposed to, you know, just working through it. You know, I embraced that role coming into this year, and I think it's paid off for me in a tremendous way. You know, I enjoyed it.
Talk to me a little bit about DMV football. Coach mentioned you're from the DMV, and when I look back over my shoulder, when I look back over my shoulder, I was thinking, I was like,
pepped up, got a smile.
Yeah, I was like, what basketball player did they bring in here? But I'm like, okay, oh, that's Quinn. Okay, but talk about football in that area.
Football in the DMV area, you know, it's where some of the best athletes are. You know, I went to Wise High School. We just won states a week and a half ago.
Oh, there it is.
Our 6-time winning states. You know, I won states twice. I probably only lost 3 games in high school at that school. So,
nice.
You know, the DMV football has a lot of talented athletes. You know, I'm pushing for us to, you know, recruit in the area. You know, you got a guy by the Carlos Young, #1 player in the state. He's #1 player in the state right now. You know, so but it's fun to ball here, and then, you know, just the aesthetic, and, you know, we had a couple state championship games at Howard University this past weekend. You know, Baloo paid Friendship Collegiate High School. You know, just to watch them, you know, just feel the atmosphere in the arena. You know, they had a light show, it was a night game for them. So just watching those guys play, you know, it's a great feeling to know. After me, it'll be a legacy coming.
No doubt.
Coach Scott, I got this for you. And see, Coach is saying this all in front of you, but I will tell you this. He beams, he talked to you, and he talked through that DMV with you not there. We interviewed him before, and he just talked about your maturation and growth, and you're proud of being out of DMV and how you had to matriculate that in a lot of ways. So with that being said, Coach Scott, let's turn the page and talk a little bit about this defense, because I want to hear your thoughts on it too. This defense has matured over the season in a lot of ways. Talk about that maturation of growth and why you believe that came to fruition, particularly in conference play when you most needed it.
I think what you have is some strong leaders and strong personalities on that side of the ball that, you know, take it by the horns. And every day they're the same 2 guys every day, same energy, and they challenge other guys around them to match their energy in practice. And just their mindset and mentality about playing defense at Howard. And that's Kenny Gallup and crazy. His name, why is his name in there? Christian White.
Mm-hmm. It happened.
Blowing my mind.
Yeah.
But anyways, those two guys, man, their energy and what they bring, not only to the defense but to our football team, their energy is infectious. And it's everybody else around them has raised their game. You see guys like Terrence Holland, who quietly just plays really good football at a high level week in and week out. And you know, it inspires, you know, guys like Clayton Perrin. You know, the list can go on. Jamel Stewart, who came back and has been playing really, really well for us inside. Jevin Jackson. And then to get Darren Brokenberg back to, you know, the game that he's playing now, and he's starting to peak. He started peaking and playing really good football.
Nice.
Even surpassed the level that he was playing before he was healthy.
Right.
In these last few games, and you know, to get him back in the fold, to get him playing fast and moving around and being able to do different things with him in that front, has really sparked our defense here, especially down the stretch when we needed them to play really well, and they've done that. We've always been pretty good against the pass, and you know, we know we had to show up and stop and run after the South Carolina deal, South Carolina State deal, and they've done that, and hopefully we continue to build on that this week.
Quentin, I want to ask you about your defense, and Charles, jump in here. You know, football is unique in terms of that when you think offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball, but you're still a team. Talk about your defensive players and how they make you excited and want you to do what you need to do offensively.
You know, it really starts in practice. You know, we feel like we're getting a great work in practice. You know, we go at those guys, you know. We'll never give them the credit to their faces. But you know, when on Saturdays, you know, we root for them in the best way possible. But you know, it really starts in practice. They give us a great look week in and week out. It's the best on the best, so we feel like we're getting the best work out of the practice. So when it comes Saturday, it's a lot easier for us because we've seen the best. We know where we're gonna get. You know, some of those guys, you know, some of the best at their position in the country. I feel like. So, you know, it's just great work, and I applaud them. You know, they've shown up and shown out this whole season for us.
Yeah.
It's been a hand-to-hand for the both of us, so I thank them.
Let me ask about this one player, and I know he's been dinged up a little bit this past season, but tight end Brennan Brown, his dad would kill me if I did not ask. Man, his dad
better get it out there.
Yeah, so I would definitely want to ask you a little bit about what Brennan brings to the offense.
Brennan is our aggressor on offense. He's the brute force, you know.
Yeah.
But he's showed up big time for us. You know, their tight end room this year has been young, and he's been that leader. A leader throughout the offense as well, just being vocal. Even though he's been banged up, he's been right there in the forefront of it, you know, through thick and thin, you know, being there with us. So, you know, Brennan is a reliable guy I know I can count on when the time is right, you know.
Quentin, how is it to walk on Howard University's campus right now?
It's a great feeling, you know. It's just a real feeling just to know that, you know, we have the backing of the community and the campus, you know, and
awesome.
Faculty and alumni. You know, I go into class and teachers are saying to me congratulations before the class even starts. You know, that's just a great feeling.
Yeah.
Just to know that they're watching. So it's been a long 5 years. So I applaud every moment of it.
No, you should. Coach eating this up, man. You got a good one here.
Yeah.
We talked to your AD. Mr. Davis,
Yep.
And I certainly can tell that synergy that's going on there.
Yep.
Talk a little more about the importance of having that kind of relationship with the athletic director that allows you to be in a position to have as much success as you can.
Right. It's about alignment. At the end of the day, an alignment starts at the top, right? The president, AD, head football coach, assistant coaches. We have to all be pulling in the same direction. I use the analogy all the time about a rope.
Yep.
And everybody's hands on the rope, and you got to be pulling in the same direction. We can't have all hands on the rope and everybody's pulling in a different direction.
Yeah.
And
We're in
we're
trouble.
never going, you know, we're never in alignment to make sure we're on the same page. Here's a goal. Here's what we want to accomplish, and here's the things we need to have to accomplish them. And if we can all get in alignment and agree on what those are, we may not always agree on when and where and how it needs to happen, but we get on the same page and we stay in alignment with what the mission is. It gives you a chance. You see that's happening, that it's permeating throughout our whole athletic department. And right now, there's no team, there's nobody in the building that wants to be the weak link. You got, you know, when your women's softball team is champions and you got individual champions in the track, you got our swim team doing what they're doing, our basketball teams. That standard becomes high when you walk into the burg. When you walk out, it's like, we got to match that. We got to match that. They're doing it. We got to match that. And that's what you want. You want it to become infectious throughout the department so it's a championship culture, not just one team is a winner and everybody else is losers, whatever the case may be. No, when you build it right, that whole culture, the culture of that is competitive. It brings them together too. It unites them. They pull for each other. And it becomes this big athletic family. You know, we're part of the Howard community, but within that, there's an athletic department family.
Good stuff. Last one, Quentin, we'll let you get out of here. I know they want to get you to some of these other tables and get to you. I want to ask you about your fans. Say something to the alumni here to support you in terms of Howard University?
I just want to say thank you to them. I've been getting calls, emails, DMs, just, saying that they'll be out here to support us. People that I've never had a interaction with, so it's just a crazy feeling to be in this moment. So I applaud them for showing up and showing out, even when we're at home and traveling with us. And then for this big game right here, I look forward to seeing them this Saturday.
Great job.
Nice.
Anything?
Yes, I think the same thing. I think what we wanted to. Winning is infectious, right? You start winning, and it can galvanize, an entire. When it can galvanize an entire base, former players, former students, the whole deal, and I think that's what it's doing right now. It's galvanizing the whole Howard family in this community. I mean, I had a gentleman tell me, he says, I've been living in the area for the past 30 years, and I've been around Howard people all my life, and I've never seen a moment in time where they've all been on the same page, galvanized as a community, and it can be a pretty strong, powerful thing. And so what that does is, though, it should stoke a fire up underneath everybody to say, hey, now how do we get to this level of continued success? What do we need to do to sustain this? This is not just a one and done type of deal. And once we win this game, that is the new standard at Howard.
Sure.
Now, if we're going to fall in, that's going to be the standard and the expectation, then everybody's got to fall in alignment. What we got to do to change this thing and change the culture forever. So I think it's also a stoke, right? It's also a call to action that, hey, it's time to move, and we got to all get moving.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm on it. Let me move as well. With that, we'll take our break as we got Quentin Williams, head coach Larry Scott, Howard University football team, man. Big time. They got a big one tomorrow. We look forward to it. Let's go. We'll be right back after this last break.
Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
At CDW, we get speed as the new currency of success.
Our team spends way too much time tending to outdated applications and software when they should be focused on driving application agility and innovation.
CDW Amplify Development Services modernizes software and application development to help accelerate innovation and digital transformation.
So you mean building new applications, UI, and mobile interfaces?
Well, you said you needed to innovate more quickly.
Oh, so he's a listener.
To do more at scale, trust CDW Amplify Development Services.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cavil.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
This is Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
It's Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, and we now have a legend in front of us, boy. It's a beautiful thing. We don't get these all
on that Mount Rushmore.
Yes, sir. Coach Rod Broadway. How's it going?
You know the answer to that. Always good. Always good.
No doubt about it. You're looking good. Taking care of yourself. So I'm serious about that. It's good to see you in that and doing that. But it's always beautiful around this time of the year to really get to talk, because obviously we're going to talk about the now. We've done that with the coaches, players, and people, ADs, all around it. But we also get a chance to reflect on some history. And you have a major part in that history. And it's unique because you've seen it on both sides. MEAC, SWAC, championship level on both sides. Not many can say that, Coach. Okay. Let's start with the framework of where you believe a lot of your success ultimately came from to be able to reach the mountaintops that you have.
From God.
Amen.
You often wonder what separates people and what makes people great. And in my years of coaching, I found out people are actually a lot closer to being great than they realize.
Wow.
There's not that much distance between good and great. Sometimes guys just got to be forced out of that comfort zone and take another step forward, because I use this example all the time.
Yes, sir.
At 211 degrees, you just have hot water. But 212 degrees, you have boiling water. There's not a lot of difference.
1 degree.
So between good and great, all you got to do is take another step. And some people are afraid to take that step. And my job was to push those guys out of that comfort zone into helping them to realize they could be great. Don't be afraid of it. Challenge it. And let's see if we can attack it and go get it.
Yeah. I believe this will probably be a hard question to answer, but I think I have to. What is the greatest moment that you can remember and recall, and why would you put it there?
Say it again, Neil.
What would be your greatest moment, your greatest accomplishment that you can recall in terms of the game of football? I know there's some things outside of that, but in terms of the game of football, and why?
When I look back now, the things that give me the most joy is seeing all those underprivileged kids that we recruited that was able to come and get degrees. Like I talked to a guy last night, first in his family to ever get a degree.
Wow. That is powerful.
Those are proud moments.
That's powerful,
when you start seeing guys that first time in the history of their family, he's the first one to go to school and get an education. And once you get them, you got to train these guys. You got to direct those guys in the right way and try to help them grow as people. And that's the thing I think we've sort of lost our way in college athletics now.
That's
because of the money and all this other stuff. And developing kids and helping them grow and become decent people, it's all about football now. It's not about your growth as people. It's about how well you perform as a football player. And that's what money's done. The game's changed now.
Yeah. Charles?
That actually leads me into
different follow-up question.
different follow-up question, because my question was going to be the state of college football now as you see it, as opposed to the time when you were coaching, and you touched on that. But as we look at it now, with NIL, with the transfer portal, where do you see college football going?
Let me start by saying this. Once the game starts, it's still a beautiful game. Mm-hmm. It's still a beautiful game. But getting to that point, and I've said for years, it's a great game, but it's a bad business. And now that they've introduced dollars into it legally, it's becoming even worse as a business, because you got kids now. I guess when I grew up, the most important thing for us was to get an education. That was it. When I grew up, my mama read everything. And for us and my family, the great equalizer in her mind was education. That was the way. And we used to say all the time, people used to say all the time, well, get you something to fall back on. But my mom she says, no, you need to get you something to spring forward from. Education isn't a fallback position. It's something to move you forward. So you need to think in those terms. But what the game has gotten now, man, it's crazy. I'm glad I don't have to deal with it, number one. But number two, I'm glad to see kids getting paid, because they deserve to get something, but it's out of control. I don't know if it's sustainable or not, because you got kids now, man, they getting $10,000 just taking a official visit.
Wow.
Hey, this is true story. True story.
Wow.
Guy took official visit to a Power 5 school.
Mm-hmm.
They offered the guy $20,000 if he was commit on Instagram. Didn't mean he had to come to school, but if he would say on Instagram,
Just commit.
I'm going to this school.
Wow.
Those are giving 20 grand.
Wow.
This is where this thing is.
That has changed
And so it
quite a bit.
doesn't have anything to do with education.
Yeah.
We used to say education, 40-year commitment, and all this stuff. And now, man, if you ain't going there with 10 grand a month, you're basically out of it.
And how has that changed from an institutional level? I'm sure with the conference churning or expansion and things of that nature, I guess you see it from that part that it's matriculated from not just players and what you got to do to obtain their services, but also institutions moving and shifting. How do you see that playing in? And that's at all levels, Power 5, HBCUs and all.
You know, I think black college football is really, to me, is the perfect situation of football because it's pure. You know, when you coach in black college football, I mean, you got a lot of responsibilities. We don't have the support staff that most people have, so we have to do a lot of stuff. And now with the money being involved, I think HBC may be losing some of its impurities, where we're starting to get into that flow of
navigating all of a sudden.
Instead of our guys getting education, learning about black people, and doing the things we need to do as coaches and directing those guys that way.
Oh, that's a great point. I appreciate you sharing it because in some ways I've seen that as well. So I agree with you about the challenge of staying who you are and true what you are, but also to some, if you're not careful, trying to keep up with the Joneses, if you would.
Yes. And, the hard part, too, I guess, is how do you coach a football team when it's about money instead of about team? And in my years of coaching, one of the things I've learned is that when it's about something bigger than yourself, you have a tendency to give a little bit more of yourself. So if you take you out of the picture and you're fighting for your brother, you have a tendency to fight a little bit harder now. But now you're not doing that because there's no such thing as team anymore. The guys are only teammates now from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 6 o'clock at night, and then they're going their own ways. And so you don't build that team you used to do. Back when I played, man, we lived together, we ate together, everything together. We policed one another. We used to have this saying, man, we're going out at night. Okay, Doc. We're going out now.
Yes,
you start some mess, you're on your own.
Right.
But if something jump off, we got you.
Yeah.
But if you started now, you're on your own. And we released one another like that. We kept each other out of because we were a team.
Yeah.
But I think that's what college athletics is missing now because it's a business. There's no loyalty involved anymore. Where you go to school? Well, I started Oakland, Oregon, then I went to Alabama, down to Michigan State.
What is this? Before I let y'all jump in here, I do want to ask you this as we kind of get in this matchup. Would be remiss if we didn't give you a chance to get your analysis in terms of this game and how much of each team you've seen. It's unique because in this case, one of the teams is coming from the SWAC, but they were a longtime member of the MEAC. So you at least have some general experience from that perspective.
Right.
But how much of these teams you've seen this year, and what are your thoughts in terms of this matchup?
Well, first of all, as I said last night, this is just like an old family reunion, old SWAC family reunion, isn't it? I mean, old MEAC family reunion. That's what we got. MEAC.
You can tell the truth here. Yeah, go ahead.
No arguments on that. So.
What was the question again? I got sidetracked.
No, you said it perfectly leading into that. What are your thoughts about the matchup?
Well, actually, I've watched FAM play a number of times.
Okay, great, great.
And Howard, but I went to North Carolina and watched FAM play a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And then I went to Miami and watched them play, and I've watched them on TV. That guy's done an unbelievable job, I think. Fantastic job where that program is and what direction it's going. And, as a football coach, I sit around and watch games. I like the beauty of it, and I like to see how things are operating, how things are run. And they got a good thing going on down at FAM right now.
Yeah.
And then at Howard's taking some giant steps forward.
Yes.
They're a good football team.
Yeah.
The record don't indicate they've taken some giant steps. So, the MEAC's getting a lot better, too, with Central there.
Yep.
The numbers are short, but football is really good now. So,
And sometimes you get that when you get a concentrated power of teams that you have to now see teams all getting better in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So it's a good point. Charles?
Yeah, when you take a look at the HBCU coaching landscape, is there a coach or coaches that remind you of yourself or somebody you look at and like, he would have been great on my staff?
Oh, God. A lot of them.
Okay.
Shoot. When I look at Trey Oliver, who worked with me for 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
I look at Sean Gibbs, who's down at Fort Valley State, who was with me for 15 years.
Just got a victory this week in the
Sam
Peach Bowl.
Washington with 11, 12 years, all those guys.
Wow.
And you know,
that's awesome.
When you win,
yes, sir.
it really becomes about people. You
Okay.
know, I think a lot of people, a lot of time, they get so confused with the X's and O's that they forget to work on the fundamentals. They get so involved in scheme that they don't take into consideration your strength or your weaknesses. And the thing that we were able to do was able to identify what you could do and try to put you in that position, because I realized one size don't fit all. Everybody don't do the same thing the same way. So I got to try to design a plan to make you shine to help us win. You know, and put you in the best position. I just can't say 48 sweep. No. I used to tell my coaches all the time, in critical times, think players, don't think plays. Think about players, and this is what this is. This is a people business, and when you learn how to communicate and get your point across to people and teach them, that's when you're going to have a lot of success. But it's all about people. It's not about the X's and O's. As they used to say, it's about the Jimmys and Joes.
Yeah.
You know, you get you some of them boys now.
You
and
can get it
know
done.
What? And I say this: we've had a lot of success, but the reason I've had success because
I had them Jimmys.
we had some dudes now. We've had some dudes.
Yes, you did.
You know, I mean,
yes, you did.
Hey, I say this: when I was at Central, when I was at North Carolina Central, we were a Division II team, but we were beating Southern.
Yep.
We were beating Delaware State. We were beating A&T. We were Division II, beating all these Division I.
I remember.
We had 29 scholarships, and we was killing these people.
Yeah.
You know, because we had some dudes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then we go to Grambling. Now, when
got
I
some
got to
dudes.
Grambling, I was shocked because they already had dudes.
I got to. This is what I got to coach.
Right.
All I had to do is point those dudes in the right direction.
Yeah.
And A&T was a whole different landscape altogether too, because they had a few, but not quite enough. You know, when I got A&T, we only had 29 scholarships. You know, we were basically
Did not know that.
Division II. And actually, they were getting ready to shut down the program. We were at stage 4. As far as APR.
Oh, APR,
yeah,
yes.
They were
Unfortunately,
stage
I do.
4.
Yeah,
and,
you're right.
So we actually, for the first 2 years, we didn't even have spring practice. For the first 2 years, we couldn't even we only had 15 hours a week of practice. So we had our hands tied behind our back for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing about all of that is when I took the job at A&T, I hadn't done anything wrong, but I had to go to Indianapolis to the NCAA and explain to them what I was going to do to try to improve the academics at A&T. Now, mind you, they had an academic advisor, but they got a football coach telling them how we're going to improve the academics.
Yeah.
Now, what's wrong with that picture?
Yeah.
Now,
Sure.
here was my thing in trying to build a program.
Great point.
I have to evaluate everybody that touched my program or has an influence on my program. You're the academic advisor. They've gone through 10 coaches. You're still sitting over there. We're getting ready to shut the program down because of academic failures, but you're still working, but they firing you, and you're the football coach? Hey.
Something wrong.
Right.
Something wrong.
Right.
Something wrong.
You know, we got to make some adjustments. So,
Sure.
you know, and when you take over a program, start fixing, everybody that touch your program now, you need to get your eyes on them and get everything the way you want it to run and operate, because and that's the thing that you happen so many times. You see incompetent people in important positions.
Yeah.
And you can't have that if you're going to have a winning football team. You got to surround yourself with good people. And the whole thing I've said the whole time I've been here is all about the people, you know. And that's how we were able to win.
No doubt.
Last one I have for you, because I know other folks want to get a chance to talk with you, and I certainly want to hog up your time. But I remember similarly at Texas Southern when they went to the stage 4. But to your credit about getting those pieces together and getting it done, you were able to move out of that. Texas Southern has still taken steps to try to get out of that. So it's a challenge in regards. It's real. So I know when you talk about being NCAA stage 4, what that looks like.
Hey, and when I say not only that, we were at stage 4, and we didn't have spring practice. We had 29 scholarships, and we got to go play these boys.
And you had to send a letter. The letter that you sent with recruiting talks about where you are. So each recruit you got, they got to see that letter. You couldn't just kind of weave around it. They got
2 years, no spring practice. Everybody else getting 20 hours a week with kids. We were getting 15 hours a week because we had to devote time to academics. We had to fix academics. And that's one of the things, too, that I don't think our coaching staff got enough credit for. They got a lot of credit for us winning, and we won a lot of championships. So we did an excellent job as far as educating black kids, too, which is the primary reason that we go to school.
Yes, sir.
I just tell kids all the time, hey, if I'm paying for your ass to go to school, you're going to go to school.
It's up.
You ain't coming here just to play football.
Yeah, I wrote a check.
School.
You gonna get that.
There ain't no doubt about that, you know.
Great place to leave it, but I would be remiss if I didn't give you a last time to talk about anything that you want to talk about as you close up. And just want to say thank you for all you've done.
Guys.
Continue to do.
You know, my hat's off to this bowl and see the direction this thing has come, the job that John Grant has done.
Yes, sir.
And the growth of this thing. And this is a beautiful experience for black kids. And, you know, and I told them back when this game first got started, and I don't know if you guys, I'm going to share a little history with you, but this thing has been turned down a number of years. And Dennis came to me when I took the A&T job and explained to me what he's been trying to get done.
Wow.
And I told Dennis this. I said, Dennis, here's the issue. Every Division I job I've ever been on in my life, every time we go into the meetings at the beginning of football season, the number one goal was to make a bowl game. Oh. You know, that was the number one goal, playing a bowl game. Yeah. You know, when I was in Division I, that was a goal, playing a bowl game. Now, things have changed now with the playoffs and all that stuff. And I told them, now, they're handing us a bowl game and $1 million. And you're going to say we want to go to the playoffs?
Right.
And actually, our people had voted no.
Yeah, so I remember.
I had to, you know.
Step up.
And have a little meeting and,
good.
Hey, guys, look, we probably need to reevaluate this thing because I think there's more value in us not going to the playoff and us going to the Celebration Bowl. And that's how this thing got started because it was, Dennis called me. He said, I thought you voted yes. I said, we did. He said, no, your boys voted no. And so I called the AD and the chancellor. I said, hey, guys, I thought we already made a decision on this.
Yeah.
You know? So we changed that vote, and that's how this thing got started, man.
I appreciate you sharing that history because we don't always get to know the intimate details in terms of how all this come together.
Too much, but I'm retired. Hell, I didn't care when I coached.
Well, you know what you gonna do now?
Exactly.
I know that's right.
Exactly.
You know what? And I say this too, and I truly believe this. You can live on truth.
Amen.
And you can live on right. You can stand right or truth over in that corner. It's going to stand all day. Why? Because it's right and because it's the truth.
Yeah.
And so you don't have an issue with it.
Right.
You know. And and as you see, this game is turning out to be a beautiful experience.
Very much so.
And Ray Nard, my quarterback, came by to see me Thanksgiving. He was down on the beach, and he came by. And he was talking about this experience, man, and what a beautiful experience it was. And for most of the kids, like I talked with Coach Oliver this year, after they ended up going to Richmond, he says it's not even close. The playoffs and this thing, he says it was like a disappointment. Nobody wanted to be there. So, hey, let me tell you this story, too.
Please.
The year that we got beat by North Carolina Central.
Right, and they ended up coming. Y'all had to go to playoffs.
We had to go to playoffs. I tried my best to run down the president and the chancellor that night after the game, and I was going to tell them, hey, we don't want to play. But I couldn't get up with any of them because we didn't. It was a disappointment going to the bowl game. I mean, going to the playoffs.
Right.
And, you know, it was Wednesday. I mean, we got to play on Friday. It was Wednesday before my mind was halfway on this game, you know, because my mind was
still trying to figure out how we didn't quite get it done.
Right. And it was and we go up there. My guys not quite as prepared as they should be. They don't play like they should play. And we got third string quarterback in there. We take a beating. And I talked with Coach Pugh and Coach Oliver, and they feel the same way. Okay. This is a much better experience for our kids than going to the playoffs. I watched a playoff game last weekend. It was in Montana.
I watched it.
Montana. The boys had a heating house. Them boys come off the field. They go in this little house. And
I'm
telling you what, they were hustling more to get in that building than the field.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, you heard it from the legendary Rod Broadway. It is a pleasure to have you anytime, man. And I love the way you snuck that in there that he came by your house on the beach.
Yeah, I know, right?
He said beach ball. Came by your house on the beach and beach ball. And that's joy retirement. You deserve every bit of it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Love you.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We'll be signing off. So let me say thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. To make sure you share our podcast with your friends and families and colleagues. Thank you, Coach Broadway.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. Check us tomorrow as we will be on Twitter and Facebook and things of that nature. Make sure you tune in to ONG Strike Zone. They'll be following us to give you some more live coverage from Radio Row. This is all part of the game time. BCSN, a beautiful intern getting this done. Delaware State representing for the family, the Greens, doing a wonderful job. Roy is always in the back scene doing what we need to do. So it's talent amongst us. We'll have Charles coming in with us to continue this work. Obviously, Mike Washington will be dropping by, so we're getting it done. So don't be surprised. We're going to be moving around. We're going to see if we can get to some other places, some other things to give you some more content. So check us out. We're on the move, and we're going to do it for you. With that being said, again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. That's usually every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. On Sundays at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. We will not have a show this Sunday. I will be on the air trying to get to Las Vegas to give you some more of the Chris Paul HBCU Classic, at least the game 2 games on that Sunday, 2 of them. We'll see if we can give you some updates there, some great games, matchups, including Jackson State, Texas Southern University. We'll see what that looks like in terms of them playing in those matchups. So I'm fascinated to see. We talked about Howard. Howard will be in those games. We'll get to see that. A lot of things going on. We look forward to next week as we discuss the latest in the lab. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. That's DrKenyattaCavil, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Charles, anything that I forgot that you want to add?
No. Look for us on some other platforms, HBCU Game Day, things of that nature as well. So.
Yep, we can come in live and bringing it to you, obviously getting all your updates. Dream big, continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon, Charles.
Of course.
Roy.
Lecture.
Dismiss.